Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us for our PegNet Weekly Update. I'm Katie Z. Today is April 8th, and I'm joined with David Johnston.
Hey there, Katie.
Hey, hey. All righty, so let's kick things off. We're all here in quarantine. We're all going a little bit stir crazy. For those who have kids, you're like itching for some probably adult conversation. So on that note, thank you to Adam Mistrelli, who's one of the community members at PegNet. He's in the New York region, and originally he stepped up. He said, hey, I'll lead some New York City meetups. And we're like, great. Except here we are with elbow bumps and virtual chats. And so he is leading now PegNet's virtual meetups, which will happen every 2 weeks on Wednesday evenings, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, so New York City time. And I want to just put that out there that if you're catching this video today as it's published, you feel free to join that. We would love to have you. As I'm saying, let's make this a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun the first time. It was like hanging out, and I'm telling people, grab a beer, grab some popcorn, come hang out. Let's talk DeFi. And I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, it should be a lot of fun. I'll be there, and I know a lot of other people will be there. So just good to hang out and see friendly faces, during this strange time. I think it's day 25 for me and the family. So yeah, hanging out with other adults. That's nice. Nice right now for anybody with kids. So
yeah. I mean, the last one I had, my kids were coming in and hanging over my shoulder, and it's all welcome. We can all enjoy the conversations of DeFi. But if you're catching this video, the link is below. It's posted all over social media. The link will always be the same for this, how to join. It'll be joining from Zoom. But the best thing that I would recommend for anyone to do if you are interested in joining, whether it be this week or perhaps down the road, there is a meetup.com link, and I think it's PegNet-NYC. That'll be posted below this video. So go to that, become a member, even though it is New York City, or it's identified in New York City. It's going to be the virtual one. So join that group, and you'll get the notifications of when they're coming up and stay up to date on that.
Awesome. I'll have to polish up the Zurich edition soon enough. So yeah.
Definitely. Let's see what else we have. Want to say thank you to the PegNet community from Turkey, who has stepped up and created a Turkish PegNet channel on Telegram. So I'll also put the link for that. And we've got French, Russian, Turkish. Now these are on Telegram. On Discord, we have Texan, right? We have Spanish, Dutch,
yeah,
Italian, I think.
Yep.
I want to say Portuguese.
We got a ton of languages on there. So, and if you would like a language group added, just spread the word in Telegram or in Discord, and I'm sure they can make that happen.
Absolutely. Also, there's WeChat. So of course, it's in Chinese. Wherever you're at, whatever language you are most comfortable to speak in, PegNet's universal. So if it's alien or whatever, cheesy mom joke, but yeah, let us know and we'll get that going. Let's see, other topics for this week. I know something that is kind of like your baby that you've been working on, David, is the trading website for PegNet.
Sure.
You want to shout that out?
Yeah, I've been donating to the open source developers that are working on this, and looks like we're ready to do a limited launch for those that are interested. We're now, for the first time, publicly saying that you can go to ptrader.co. So ptrader.co is the URL for the trading website. And effectively what this is going to give you, and you can see here in Katie's wallet, is a way of seeing and visualizing all of your pegged assets Katie, if you want to click on PegNet, for example, you can see it's super simple interface to deposit, peg to the address, to withdraw from that address. It's got two-factor authentication, all the things you'd expect. You can do conversions right there, and you just pick what you're converting from, how much, and then if you go to the drop-down menu there, it shows you all the different options that you have to convert into, and then you just push convert, and it gives you a nice conversion in the next block into that amount that you selected. So that's really helpful. Of course, it's got security and profile and history, things like that. But one thing I do want to highlight, and that we've talked about for a while, is on the left side, you'll see the Tradingview script. Okay. So we're going to create a video about how to do this. But in short, what you would do is you can connect your Tradingview account to your PegNet account. So if you've got an alert for, buy Bitcoin at, 5,000 if it got to that level, or sell Bitcoin if it got to 10,000, you can set all of those alerts in Tradingview and have them push into your PegNet wallet. So if you go back to the PegNet interface, you'll see they've got a webhook URL right there at the top, and that's what you'd connect in. And then it has examples below of different scripts that you could set in Tradingview that would then trigger into your PegNet wallet. So the reason you'd want to do this, of course, is you could convert P assets for a tiny fraction of the normal cost it would take on an exchange. And I think that's why we're seeing such growth in volume conversions, is for 1/10 of a penny, you can convert from that Ethereum exposure to Bitcoin exposure, from that Bitcoin exposure to PUSD, right? Through all the P assets. And so this is just making it a lot easier for anybody that wants to trade using PegNet, and they've already got a Tradingview account. There are 3 million people that use that service. Like, let's just leverage all of that existing community and give them an easy way to use PegNet. So this is a big step forward, and we're effectively inviting the people that see this video as to be the first people testing it out. Still very much alpha, beta software, so send comments in the Discord channel about what you'd like to see improved. This is sort of like a version 1. But people have been testing it for a few weeks that have requested invites, and so far so good. Seems to do conversions well, deposits, withdrawals, two-factor, email codes. There's a lot of good security built in. So check it out, and we'll be making more noise about it, but you guys are the first to get access to ptrader.co. So check it out soon, and send us feedback. But this is where more and more features will get added. So when the arbitrage bot is complete, that'll be a module listed on that left-hand side next to the Tradingview tab. And when, CCTX library that people have requested gets integrated, that information will live in here. So think of this website as the trading tools for PegNet. It's not necessarily a wallet. You can sort of use it for that purpose, but still encourage people to use their own private wallets. But think of this as a repository for all of those trading tools. And the intention is to make these available to everybody, and so they can create their own versions and run them locally, whatever they want to do. But that'll be a little further down the road.
So I love this, and I want to unpack it a little bit more. So since I'm sharing this screen, let me start with a simple question.
Sure.
So looking at the alert webhook. Now, I'm not a developer or a coder, but I did have a MySpace, so I learned a little bit about it. And so I'm looking at, let's say, this first one. So this is a rule, a trading rule. So if I have my account and I kind of want it to run on semi-autopilot, where, if I'm taking my kids out to the park or something and Bitcoin hits 11,000, say,
right.
Then this bot will know to make that conversion for me, and I can have that peace of mind I didn't miss out, right?
Right.
Now, here's the question. And so it says, convert 500 PEG to PBTC when BTC price is 11,000. Now, what if I wanted to convert 1,000 peg when Bitcoin is 8,000, whatever. Can I change this when I'm setting up the rule in Tradingview? Can I change this number,
Yeah.
leaving all else status quo, not touching a darn thing? Just that number. I can change that to 1,000 if I want.
Yep.
And then I can change this to 8,000.
Yep, that's exactly it. So these are examples, and you can just copy and paste the code and change them to whatever values you want. There's also a lot more advanced trading strategies. These are some sort of very simple examples, but there's a lot of more advanced trading strategies available inside of Tradingview. People have come up with all sorts of different scripts. But these are some just good, simple examples of what you can do. Based on different alerts. And so that's sort of the most basic functionalities, leveraging those alerts. But if you've got scripting powers, by all means, send us script suggestions. We can always add them to the examples that may be useful to people in this kind of section. But these are some good ones to start with. Do a conversion, do a burn, based on these different parameters, and just change the parameters whatever you want.
And another thing, so if I wanted to convert, let's go to PUSD here, right? So PUSD to PEG. What if I wanted to convert PUSD to PXAU, P gold? I can adjust this as I see fit. So it's actually pretty straightforward. Just making sure that if you are playing around with this, I would set amounts that you're comfortable with and let a couple of transactions happen before you go ahead and you make write a rule for yourself that you're not yet prepared for.
Exactly.
This ID, I noticed that this is the same. So what is that ID in Tradingview?
That should just be your account ID. So that's probably an example one. So I would check that you've got the right account ID.
Okay, so all right, let's walk people through this. When you're in Tradingview, make sure that you have your own ID set up. You don't want to use this sample one at all, right? That's number one. Number two, make sure that you're writing the right type. Are you converting? Are you burning? So make sure that you have the right rule there. The amount that you want to convert, say we're doing conversions, you have the right assets converting to, converting from and converting to. Converting from will be the first here, which will be PEG. Converting to will be the second, and then whatever price. Now this is BTC, so make sure that this is aligning with that when BTC on the exchanges from Tradingview is getting triggered in that rule. Like I said, test this before you go big, because you might be going home. I guess.
Test. It's early, and that's a great way to walk through it. But let me just say a couple words about the security model. You can think of the security model here that the devs have built as like blockchain.com type security model. It is a centralized server, right? And the wallets are all encrypted on that server, but you have the only password that unencrypts the wallet on that server. So if you lose your password, there's no recovery because the service isn't holding your funds. It has no copy of your private key unencrypted. So write down your password, back up your password. There's a way you can export your private key if you go into the profile and security settings. So you can do that export and pull the key out. It's probably a good idea to export that at some point. Probably don't want to show it on screen for Katie's wallet. But if you go to the security section, you can just see the availability of the export of the account, right? You would put in your password. It shows you the private key, and you can write that down in a secure place, keep a backup, and then you can always recover your wallet. So in that, enabling two-factor is always important. Google Authenticator's on there. It's also going to send you an email code. So there's multiple sources of authentication. So, it's still early. It is a centralized wallet, but just wanted to explain that security model so people understand sort of the responsibilities on you. The website does not hold your funds. It doesn't want to be your custodian. This is a set of tools. You can export your value at any time. You can secure it with these extra means. But just think about it and treat it in that way that you would a hot wallet that's online, but only you can do the recovery for. So just act accordingly. And anybody familiar with blockchain.com or similar wallets, it's very convenient, but you have to remember to keep your password and backups.
Let's do this. I'm going to throw this out there and comment in the comment section of this video on YouTube if this resonates or you want to see this. As David mentioned, this is an alpha version, right? So you're in the inside now, or the insider group, if you will, before we make that official announcement widely. If you're interested to have a little bit of hand-holding and walkthrough to make sure that you've got your private keys stored the right way, the Google Authenticator, different steps, and those boxes are being checked off, let us know. I mean, it's crypto safety 101 kind of stuff, but I'm interested to make sure that everybody that is using PegNet in particular, and of course crypto at large, that they are having a positive experience with it. The last thing that we want is someone from the community to have a discouraging kind of moment when they realize that they didn't write down their encrypted key. For example, one thing that I had was I wanted to get away. And so I went to this tiny little private remote island off the coast of Honduras last winter. And I decided I'm afraid of water, but I'm like, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to take this little kayak, and I see another little island just across the way and I'm going to kayak over there. But as we all know, if you didn't take a selfie, it didn't happen. So I brought my phone with me, and a tiny little wave as I'm looking at the coral took me out, and my phone and my Google Authenticator was on there. The only one I can't get through is my Raven wallet, but that was a nightmare trying to get everything back up and in order. So we want to avoid those kind of unforeseen kind of situations that happen and make sure that you got everything organized. But I'm sure we all have battle scars in crypto.
Yep, absolutely. No, gotta always be good about your passwords and your security. But hopefully this will make it a lot easier for people to access. You don't have to have command line knowledge in order to do conversions and set up these trades. So by all means, enjoy. I mean, we continue to see the conversion rates increasing. I think we just crossed $70 million in conversions yesterday. So that's great to see. And, effectively that shows that even with the current barriers, people have been, now it's at 73 million, right? Have been racking up the conversions in the system. So that's, we're getting very close to 5 million in total market cap. That's great to see. So, as it gets easier, I think we'll see even more volumes. And I don't think people are used to all of this volume coming from, they're only, a little less than $5 million of value on the network. And I think it's because you've got such ease of doing conversions right now. There's a tenth of a penny. You don't have to worry about liquidity on the market. You don't have to worry about an order book and how much is available at the price that you want. You're able to freely convert your value inside the system. So I don't think anything like that has existed before PegNet. And so I expect to see, we'll see enormous volumes on the conversions, especially as the assets in the system continue to grow. And it'll be interesting to track. It's one of those metrics that I'm watching closely. How many people are involved in that? It's hard to say. Hundreds of people have PegNet addresses. Some of them are miners, some of them are traders. We saw a lot of value flow into the system the last few months as people burned like 300 million peg converted into P assets. I don't know who all of those people are. And so it's hard to say how many users, but I think as we get tools like this that make it all doable on a simple website, we'll see that number of users really start to crank up. But you can see the conversions on pegnetmarketcap.com as it goes from one crypto to another. Those daily volumes, that's people moving those P assets. And it seems like if there's a bullish day, they're largely moving into crypto. And then it seems like, so for example, there were $7 million today on Zcash, or if you scroll down, 5 million on Monero. Further down, there's $7 million on Raven Coin and $5 million on, Bitcoin Cash, et cetera, right? So these volume numbers, those are P assets going in and out. So if you scroll a little down, it may even show you supply. So this is, if you look at that supply chart for 24 hours, that's people coming in and out of those positions. And you can see, when there's a market move, they're probably trying to take advantage of that and get in at a good price and then moving out later in the day. So there's enough volume in the system that it's clearly, people have set up different scripts and bots, and most trading right in the world is done by bots. How many people are running those bots? It's hard to say, but I think the key is to lower the barrier and just continue to make it easier.
So I like that, and I'm glad that we could kind of walk through a little bit of how the average PegNet user can kind of evaluate what do these numbers mean, what story is that telling. And I think you're exactly right. So once these tools become more widely known about at this point, right? Widely known about, more used, and that's going to definitely increase, and more user friendly too. So this is an ongoing process. The work is never done, and it's going to remain that way. I think there's no like holy grail of like, okay, we can, sit back and stop working at it. It's a constant
There will
task.
always be more integrations and cool stuff that we can add to the network and the tools that can get integrated. So yeah, no, there's no shortage of work to do, but I think this is one of those big steps to go from command line to GUI for having this easy interface. So yep.
Absolutely. One of the things I keep seeing, and someone posted it in the marketing, brought it to in the marketing channel in Discord today, was shared a tweet from, I forget which DeFi kind of authority figure, if you will. But they're looking for these low cap kind of DeFi projects at this time and asking for their community, put these on our radar. What is it about having this low cap or the supply, and where do you think PegNet is right now?
I mean, obviously we're still early in the journey. Mining only went live in August of last year. October, the conversions triggered. Remember when the first $100,000 of P assets moved into the system and it went live? Arbitrage really only started in December, January. And even then, it's only been really based on these very limited command line tools. When the arbitrage bot on the PegNet tools gets released, it'll effectively be the beginning of real arbitrage in the system where people can easily move in between. And it'll be interesting to see how the P asset prices tighten up based on those arbitrage bots being easily accessible to people. That's, I think, our biggest hurdle left is, mining has done great. It's bootstrapped. There's a ton of hash power. And conversions obviously is continuing to ramp up. Arbitrage is the area that we really need to finish the bootstrapping process to get more and more ability for people to come in and out of the network and close those prices with P assets. We're still seeing sort of big moves in P asset prices on exchanges, and it takes a while for them to come back to their normal reference price on the exchange. So as you have bots, that time is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter as it goes. So, that's really, I think, the big step, because we've proven the mining. Like, decentralized oracles are here. They're here to stay. And the network's definitely proven the success of conversions. And so the next key is getting that arbitrage sort of fully engaged, and so that's what I'm spending a lot of time on and donating to developers working on those aspects.
And thank you for bringing this up, and forgive me too for jumping around a little bit, but you reminded me when I was mentioning that I wanted to unpack ptrader.co in this tool. You had mentioned earlier in this video about this is the first module, right? Those conversions and burns. The second module will be the arbitrage, and CCXT, which is a library, if I'm not mistaken. I'm learning here. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what these steps are and what people can be looking out for, or how they can donate if they want, or donate their time or their skills to bringing these to life?
Sure. So everybody can see the Tradingview one is already live, and if you've got scripts and bots and things like that you want to suggest to the community, drop them in the Discord channel. We probably create a whole collection of examples that people can use. It's probably a great thing to kind of pin to the channel around, here are, just the way we've pinned the wallets and the exchanges and all the other resources, to pin a bunch of scripts and trading bots, or at least alerts and things that can be executed. That'd be great. That's super easy. We could even start just by taking the ones that are already on the website and dumping them into the channel for people to be able to use. The second step is the ARB bot is defined as going in and out of the PegNet wallet. So you see a good price on PUSD, great, I'll buy cheap PUSD, I'll put it in my PegNet wallet, I'll do a bunch of trading. Oh, later I wanna convert and deposit those, say PFCT back on an exchange, and it's going for a higher price. I'll sell some on the exchange. Now I've got Bitcoin or Ether again, and oh, there's more cheap USD available, and I'm gonna go grab that, right? And that's the cycle of arbitrage that closes those reference prices, is when you go from the external exchanges into your wallet, take advantage of the conversions inside the wallet, and then go back out to the exchange. So that's the arbitrage cycle that we talk about. So that the ARB module is a bot that can do every one of those steps.
Got it. From
the deposit to the withdrawal, to the conversion, to the deposit, to the trade on the exchange, and back. So I know the trader, or rather the developer, has finished basically all except for some of the deposit steps are a little challenging when it comes to some of these dexes because of the wrappers that they have. And so there may need to be one manual step in there, but you'd effectively have a bot that can do all the other steps automated. And so like to fully automate that, and that's what we're gonna get to, but that's what I'm describing as the arbitrage module. Now, if the third module, the CCTX, this is defining, and this is a library used by most of the major exchanges. And so if you're a trader and you wanna do one of those trades, it gives you a standard set of parameters for how to describe that trade. Like, I'm gonna take $1,000 of, BCH and trade it for $1,000 of Ether. Okay, there's a standard way of describing that, and it's very strict about how you describe that, so it's interpreted correctly by the exchange. So in the context of PegNet, that's saying, okay, if somebody gives us one of those standard CCXT commands, your PegNet wallet, or at least the trading tool, will be able to interpret that and say, they want to do a conversion of a PBCH to PETH. Got it. No problem. Conversion done, right? And that way, all the traders don't have to reinvent their tool set that they've built for every other exchange out there. Think about it as another equivalent of like a Tradingview, right? Tradingview, has their alerts and the way they're pushing that, and basically here's an interpretation layer to take those commands and work inside PegNet. Okay, let's do that again for CCXT. I'm sure there's other libraries and other integrations, but those are some of the most popular ones that have been requested. So Tradingview, RBot, CCXT, that's the initial set of things we're going for, but Tradingview is ready right now. So let's release it to the community.
Yes, yes, exciting stuff. The so when they're in this ptrader.co interface, where is it pulling that information? So if I'm saying that I want to make that conversion when BTC hits 8,000, where is it getting that information from?
That's a good question. I think it's probably coming from the mining nodes. So if a miner is running PegNet D and the software, that's what they're using to report the price into the Factom protocol to record the data of the price that 10 minutes for all 42 of the assets. So if you're running a node, you can see what the reports are. Another way to do it is to read it from the blockchain. And lastly, you can read it from an API endpoint like PegnetMarketCap.com has, give me the price of Peg right now. And all PegNet Market Cap is doing is they're running one of those nodes. And so, they're pulling the raw data and just providing it in an easy way for everybody to read. So, but it's all coming back to the miners in the end, whether it's pulling from the API or pulling from a node directly.
This is awesome. This is really, really cool. I think I would love to hear from those who use this tool, who are avid traders. I would love to hear what kind of differences or percentages that they're seeing in what they're used to on average to PegNet. How does that compare? And I would just be really curious what that experience is like. Because like you said, I used to trade, I used to do Forex. I just don't have the bandwidth to make it full time. I'm very passion led. And so blockchain is where my heart is. But yeah, I know enough to know that this is definitely going to be changing the way that people are behaving with their trades and how they're making those decisions on when to convert, when to make that transaction.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and a tenth of a penny is hard to beat. I mean, you could just do the numbers right now. So $100,000, if that's your trading portfolio, and you're doing a trade and you're paying 0.25% for a trade, which is pretty typical. It's $250 is your trading fee. Some exchanges maybe get down to 0.1%, be $100, right? But if I take that $250 trade, and even if I just do one a day, by the end of the year, I've paid $91,250 in trades, right? And so I was only gonna do a trade if my gain on that trade was more than the $250 at a minimum, right? Or more than $100 in the case of 0.1% as a fee. And that controls my behavior, right? This is why I wrote the article about, Ready Trader One, is all of a sudden you don't need 100 grand, right? You could be making money on $100 or $1,000 because the fees are so low. So no, that's definitely gonna seriously change some behavior. I mean, that same 365 trades over the year, and if your cost is, 1/10 of a penny, you come out to 36 cents, 36.5 cents for your annual trading fees on PegNet, right? So, I mean, the difference between that and $91,000 is pretty stark. And that's like not even an active trader. I mean, well, an active trader could do 10 times a day, if they're running a very active strategy. So, yeah, I think it's huge for the trading community. If when PegNet gets to the level in the next year or two where like there are conferences, our equivalent of DevCon, I think will be like TraderCon or TradingCon, right? Because it's like that's the people that are benefiting from this. It's the traders.
Would it be fair to say that traders rule the world?
We'll see. We'll see. They tend to move a lot of economic activity. So yeah, and every use case that is in the future, like payments and stuff like that, it's still based on all of this trading that's going on, right? And so I think that's and effectively, if you look at the usage of stablecoins today, it's largely trading and hedging, people doing that between crypto and fiat, and so that's already proven. No, there's no question. So anyway, exciting times.
Very exciting. I'm going to put a call to action out on that note. If any graphic designers, even if you're not super confident in your mid-range, would be interested to put together an infographic that could kind of show exactly what you pointed out with the calculator. So if you had $100,000 and your fee was this, here's scenario A. If you did one trade a day, if you did, and you had 1/10 of, a percent, here's what your fees would be for the year. If you're doing 2 transactions a day, I would love to do that side-by-side comparison and have some sort of graphic that,
a graphic would be, infographic would be great. And then as a dynamic content, if somebody wants to put up a website that has a calculator. So for example, there's a mining calculator that shows you how much peg you get mining with, different number of computers and different amounts of hash power. So it would be super easy to have, PegNet calculator. I'm sure somebody's running out to get that DNS. To get that URL right now, but PegNet calculator, right? You could calculate, I do 5 trades a day and 1/10 of a penny each, and here's what I save over a year, or here's what you pay on the traditional exchange, and it's like, boom, right? I mean,
if I, as a little marketer, had a calculator that I could send out to the crypto trading community and say, don't take my word for it, put it in the calculator, run your own scenarios,
right.
See for yourself.
How much money are you moving? How often do you do it? And what are you paying? Or you just tell us the exchange, we'll tell you what you're paying in the fee. I mean, the cheapest is usually a 1/10 of a percent. So, yeah, that would be super simple that'd be a fun little thing to have.
I would love it as an app, just throwing that out there. I have a little PegNet calculator app on my phone. A really awesome stuff. I love where this is going. We all are on quarantine. We are doing the same as everyone else here, but in crypto land, I don't see much slowing down at all. I mean, it's been business as usual for us.
It's been like the busiest 3 weeks of my life. Like I haven't gotten off the phone and oh man, so I go to sleep and when I wake up, right? So yeah, no, this is the time for the stuff we're building. So let's go get the word out. Yep.
All right. I hope to see some of you guys at the virtual meetup, PegNet meetup. I'm really just classifying that as a DeFi meetup. Of course, we're going to talk about PegNet because PegNet's really, the fundamentals of it are just incomparable in what DeFi currently has. And anyway, until next week.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.